Hi, give me a sec. Scrap experienced the ups and downs of father's house as he bonds with Lobolo and mischievous baby Scrap as they both fight for the prized acorn. So in case you didn't see it or left it halfway, this animated movie recap is Ice Age, The Adventures of Scrap from Disney. Chapter 1, Nuts About You. These shorts begin with our little friends called Scrap, who as usual is over his nut, so he loses sight of it, and when looking for it among the grasses, he sees it on a rock, but in reality it was a small rodent baby called Baby Scrat. Scrap is scared since it is the first time he sees a small of his kind, so he just pats his head and keeps looking his precious nut, but the boy takes his hand and looks at him tenderly. Then Scrat's brain is divided in two. On one side there is a nut, and on the other the baby Scrap. So he becomes fond of his new adopted baby, so he rises with happiness. Then we see how they spend good time together. Our protagonist also tries to change his despair, but he still doesn't know how to do it. Later he watches him take his first steps, and they also gaze at the stars together. The next day, baby Scrap walks through the grass, so Scrap follows him and realizes that the little one is found a nut, so he has internally struggled between loving the baby or his nut, while the boy begins to eat it. So Scrap decides he doesn't hesitate and he's going to take the nut. So we see how he is very fond of his nut. Scrap sees the little one while he buries it to the safety, and the floor breaks and almost falls. So he sees as baby Scrap approaches him slowly, so he thinks he is going to help him. However, he only takes the nut. Scrap is wanting to leave, but is crouched and then falls into the boat, while baby Scrap only sees him and eats the nut. Chapter 2, Scrat beats to sleep. We see how baby Scrap is sleeping, and with the nut hobble, Scrap arrives, who slowly takes it away, but the little one cries so hard that the bricks begin to fall from the mountain of ice, so it is better to return it to him. He takes it away again, but the little one cries louder and louder, so Scrap doesn't know what to do. Scrap hits his head with the nut, so the baby likes the sound it makes. Scrap realizes this, so he doesn't it again, while the boy chose him to do it with the bone, to which Scrat is scared. Take it and start making noise with the nuts and the bone, but the little boy tells him no, do it with the bone and his head. Then Scrap thinks he is crazy, so he runs off without stopping, but is interrupted by the ice chunks falling from the mountains. So he quickly returns to the little boy playing, so the debris stop. However, baby Scrap pulls up a little cactus, so Scrap freaks up, but he still picks it up and hits himself once. So we see that the baby Scrap is getting sleepier, and he thinks that it's the chance to start making sounds again. Then the little one takes up an honeycomb, so Scrap adds another instrument to his music. He also takes out a frozen electric eel, so Scrap wonders where the little brother is getting so much stuff from, but he continues with the show. Also, he adds a bird to do the choruses of Scrap melody, but the latter interrupts the music, so Scrap manages to use the bird as another instrument, so he manages to put the little one to sleep. Takes his nut to leave, but not before to choke his throat. Then a huge snowball falls and leaves him buried, because he drops the nut and it comes close to baby Scrap, so he begins to eat it. Chapter 3, a complicated goal in a very epic way, but in reality the baby has it, so he plans how to take get from him. He thinks his plan, so he shows the little one how to bury the nut, since that is how he will capture it. But the boy apparently does not understand what he is talking about. He tries but can't, so he tries over and over again, while Scrap is losing his patience. Shortly after, apparently he is going to achieve it, so our protagonist is excited to get the nut. However, the boy fails again, so Scrap loses patience, takes it off and buries the nut himself, and buries it even more than one jump, just like the instructions he gave the baby. But he reacts, and at the same time the trap activates and captures him. Then he is hit over and over again by his own trap. Baby Scrap keeps the nut again, and he ends up in a piece of the ice that falls into the wash. So he ends up charred, but he manages to get out of there. Then he sees that the baby manages to bury the nut himself. He also buries it even more than one jump. Scrap is happy, but the bad thing is that the trap is activated again and captures Scrap again, while the little one only applauds glad. Chapter 4. Nutty Reflections. We see how both rodents are fighting for the nut, so it is realized and falls into the cave, so the two go. But something appears that to scare Scrap, although in reality it's only a reflection in the eyes. Then realizes that Scrap starts making funny faces under his reflection, so baby Scrap does it too, and together they have a moment fun. But they see the nut, so they go after it. While we notice that Scrap's reflection moves of its own accord and is following them. Then Scrap takes the nut first and holds it up so the baby Scrap can't reach it, while the little one sees that the reflection moves on its own, and that is very creepy, which takes the nut from Scrap so the every reflection doesn't the same to Scrap, so he can't reach it. Also, a baby Scrap appears in the reflection, so it scares them, while we notice that the reflections are fighting each other, so Scrap and the baby reflects that they have been fighting, and it's shown them to be like that, so understand each other better. Later we see that thanks to the fight of the reflections, the cave is about to collapse, so the rodents quickly escape from there together. Scrap comes out but sees that the little one is not there, so he gets sad, although he notices that the baby Scrap is okay. They see the nut go by since he is thrown by the collapse, so they both fight for it again and return to catch it, while the reflection thinks that they didn't understand anything. Chapter 5. A Balance of Unbalanced. We see how both rodents are sniffing to find his nut, so shortly after they find it, but in the mouth of a bear which is trying to eat it, so they jump on it to snatch it away, so they leave the poor bear lying, while they start fighting over the nut again, so baby Scrat and the nut are thrown and the little one is left swinging on a log. So scared, he screams for help. Afterwards, Scrap gets scared too, so he runs to help him, but he remembers the nut which is right behind him, so he better take it, while the little one falls, but drags Scrap and the nut too. They slip through the snow, so they take flight and end up on top of the cloud. But when the cloud leaves, they realize that the trunk is in a small sharp rock and the drop is very high. So Scrap screams and his hair is all over the world, traveled to the galaxy and even heard by the creators of Scrap. Returning to Scrap, we see how the nut also falls with them, so the trucks begin to lose balance. So Scrap begins to place them in positions so that they don't fall, but baby Scrap moves a lot, so the trunk begins to spin. Then when they stop, they end up with rods on each side and the nut in the middle, so they agree to advance one step at a time, so the two arrive with the nut, but the bird flies and takes the nut as it flies away in the air. The two two Scraps look into each other's eyes and together they plan to go after the bird. So they leave down on the truck and Faust takes flight again and they launch themselves towards the bird. So after calculating the direction well, they manages to successfully take it off and they both have. However, they were balanced on the mountain again. So Scrat takes the nut, but the little boy gets off the trunk and Scrap falls, leaving the nut within the boy's reach. Chapter 6. Not the end. We see how baby Scrap tries to escape with the nut while his adoptive father is chasing him. But the nut is realized and falls into the watch. A mountain also falls on it, so the little one assumes and lets Scrap know that they have lost. While we notice that Scrap's brains now has nothing to think about. Then both roaches are very sad, so since they have lost their precious nut. So baby Scrat takes the hand to the other, so he thinks again about loving the baby. Then they hug each other tenderly since they have nothing to fight about, so they have fun as father and son, fishing together in the lake, drawing pictures of themselves together, while we watch time go by very quickly. A few years ago, we see how Scrat is already very old, so baby Scrat changed his despair. We also notice how they see the stars together, but the bad thing is that he is already so old, so he is very sick too. So the little one takes his hands while he only looks at him tenderly. Shortly after, Scrap goes to heaven, so we see how his drawing disappears. We also notice how the little boy is very sad for his father, and the moment Scrap's spirit rises to heaven, while he notices the boy sad. Later he sees that the little boy takes a stick and hits the old man, to see that he doesn't move, since they has what he was waiting for. The Scrat is surprised, follow him and see that the boy had his plan elaborated so that he would think that bad thing happened to the nut, but in reality it was all a lie. So baby Scrat happily keeps the nuts while Scrap only sees him disappointed and angry at the same time, so he quickly returns to his body, removes the bear and screams in anger, while his baby Scrap is surprised and runs, while we notice how Scrap can walk very well. The end. If you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe to continue receiving the best recaps of the best animated movie. Have a great day.